Hello everyone, my name is Levi Prater and today I will be presenting to you the Art of Crossing Cultures presentation. Now, whether you are traveling abroad or moving abroad, there's so many different factors to consider, and just going on these great experiences, you'll meet so many new people, try many new things, and it really will help break one out of their comfort zone as well as increase their independence level. And it is very important before going anywhere to do research of that community, of that country, and especially of the business culture. And ways to do that, of course, are through Google and doing research that way, and utilizing tools such as Google Maps and Google Earth. Those street views will give a better idea of what to expect. Nothing can replace being there and experiencing the culture and country itself, but utilizing those tools significantly help. And it is also important to note that when you do go on these experiences and these travels, that you are going to have to say tough goodbyes to family. They are your major support system, and they will be gone. Sometimes on business trips, the spouses will join and accompany, but especially with traveling, a lot of times, sometimes it is just an individual. So as you're leaving and heading to the airport, ready for your journey, keep an open mind. And there's two end games once you get there. You can either go home early or stay with diminished effectiveness. When you first arrive to your destination, you will experience something called country shock. Now, just adjusting to the community and the country itself can be very difficult. You'll be faced with different climates. Uh, it could be too hot, too cold, too wet. Different stores might not carry products that we're used to. Um, and it can go all the way down to the little things such as a specific brand of toothpaste. Uh, those routines are not there anymore that you had in your home country. There are going to be a lot of unfamiliar faces, and meeting new individuals will help rebuild that support base that you left in your home country. Whenever going to a new destination, there will be different infrastructure, whether it is better or worse. In many countries, buses are the primary form of transportation, and the roads can be in better or worse conditions. And trains themselves can even be way better and have technology that we may have never seen before, like hyper trains. Uh, and dealing with also different animals and insects. This can lead to health concerns because some of them are very poisonous and harmful to people. So those are very important to keep in mind. And ultimately, it is important to psychologically anticipate the country and culture shock. Now, at your new destination, you will be experiencing the country shock and the culture shock, trying to get used to the new normals, but it is important to interact effectively with the local people to ease this amount of shock. And people in new places will be witnessing so many new norms. What is normal? What is right? What is wrong? And just getting used to these is very important, but it can lead to cultural incidents where one or more parties is either confused, offended, or frustrated. Now, a type 1 cultural incident, is when the behavior of another culture confuses, offends, or frustrates you. But a type 2 incident is when your behavior confuses, offends, or frustrates a party from another culture. In both of these scenarios, the expats or the visitors suffer the most. Now, some of these instances can occur just from different norms and different meanings of the language. And two of these instances occurred during with Yasmina and the Indian programmers. I believe both of them were asked to produce something, whether it was a report or an actual program. And when they were asked if they could do that or if they understood, Both groups said yes, but yes did not always mean yes. And the deal with Mr. Khalid was asking for family favors, and the individual asked what their qualifications were, but in their traditions and in their norms, it was customary to give family favors when achieving a business deal. And I believe in the example of the Ministry of Trade, um, the individual called, and by not receiving a call back, that was the answer. And the meeting with the Artesian manager was about an hour late, and there can be tons of different punctuality rules. Typically in America, we are very on time, whereas in Argentina, he was, I believe, an hour late. And other examples include not asking for salt in Egypt. When you do this, they assume that you are repulsed by the taste of the meal. When you are in Norway, it is very important to maintain your table manners. Even there, the sandwiches are eaten with a fork and knife. And in Hungary, it's very important to say cheers properly and not click your glasses. Following a brutal defeat after the war with Austria in 1849, Austrian generals celebrated with the drink and clinking the glass. And just as a general rule of thumb, tipping, always look at the rules of the country that you're going to if you're going to be eating at a restaurant. Now, if these incidents keep repeating, it can lead to a fallout and just an overall turning against the local culture. And these negative emotions, these negative feelings will lead to decreased work productivity. You're extremely homesick and avoiding the culture, avoiding people, avoiding all social situations. And it's important to not let these negative emotions carry over to all interactions. Even if you do not speak the home language of the destination or country that you're at, people can tell when someone is upset. People can tell when someone is sad. People can tell when someone is happy. Moods are contagious, and it is very important to remember that. And also, it is okay to have a close circle or expat subcultures in your certain area where you can kind of escape for a little bit, but do not run away from the culture. And a powerful quote from the text: if you aspire to be truly effective in your overseas assignments, you must break through this impasse and get beyond the temptation to withdraw from the local culture. And a big way to solve the problems and incidents that one may be experiencing in new countries is to not have an ethnocentric impulse where they would believe that the other cultures are going to be like back home. Heck, even different cities, towns, and villages here in Michigan have their own unique cultures. So that will certainly apply overseas, and every different country will have its own uniqueness. They will have their own normal about different things that they do, and other cultures are not like ours. This is why we travel. So you can try to imagine the other, but you don't know what you don't know. Once you get past the ethnocentric impulse and realize that other cultures are going to be different, especially overseas, um, you will come to the realization that it is unrealistic to expect locals to change their culture. And the expat or you, the visitor, must change to the community's culture. And this is a two-step process. You must first realize that you had the unrealistic expectation, and second, you must expect the local people to just simply be themselves. As you go through this process, keep an open mind, increase your emotional awareness, understand what emotions you are feeling, how quickly did you feel them, um, can you put them down, can you subside them, and just keep an open mind. And as you're exposed to these different behaviors, Always try to understand before you judge, but once you have understood, you must judge. Learning the language of the country you are visiting is not entirely essential, but it will surely benefit you. You will be able to strike up conversations much more easy, understand what people are saying around you, and not be so in the dark about what is going on. Really, without it, you are mute. And I really like the text basically stating that without the language of the community you're in, you're less capable than a 3-year-old with the limited language they have. I think that's a very accurate analogy. And without language, you will never truly know others and they will never truly know you. So it is important to take those steps and just making the effort, showing that you care enough to try will go a long way and create a lot of respect. And also, there are language translator technologies if you cannot have a translator on a business trip, and these language translator technologies are really cool. When thinking about the payoff of being culturally effective, it really needs to be compared to if you were not culturally effective. The negative emotions that you were feeling, the homesickness, and just being stressed, not being able to be productive at work, not being able to communicate. And so, just being culturally effective, it greatly increases your chances of being successful, finding a new home, creating new friends. And uh, when you do that for a business, it's great advertisement for a global company. And you're much more likely to get your business ideas a fair trial. And just remember when you become culturally effective to not relax too much. It is easy to revert to the old ways, and you just need to make sure that you are representing the company. However, being culturally effective also allows others to be themselves. So once you start to see that effect, you will be able to separate the individual from the culture. And this is a very powerful thing, and you will have your kind of your new eyes, your new frame of reference, and you will be able to reflect on your own culture with what you have learned in your journeys. And cultural incidences themselves are not the problem, it is how you react to them. Additional tips that I found for expats or just simply crossing cultures was to organize your finances before leaving. This is very important, as well as developing a savings plan. It is important to understand the currency and the home or the country's economy that you are traveling to, and research different communities and their interests. You could possibly find photography institutes, art institutes, sports arenas. Soccer is very popular all around the world. Research different renting options within your area if you know the idea of which geographical location you're kind of looking at. You can check out all the different renting options there, as well as figure out your phone SIM card. I know that Verizon maybe isn't necessarily everywhere in the world. So having those different SIM cards to use the different towers over in different locations is very beneficial, and it will help ensure communication. Also, go for walks around the community, explore, see what it has to offer, and strike up conversations with people. Do not be afraid to ask for help. That's how you build relationships within the community. And last but not least, always keep an open mind and positive attitude. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on the art of crossing cultures. And here are my references.